I'll text it right now. Him or her? They became your neighbor. They just bought the house. It's the Rebbe wants that we should learn the Maim Bas Lagani, split it up between Shachris Mincha Might of Shachris Mincha. So we'll just do a little piece of the first Maimer and maybe recap a little of the ninth Ois. The Rebbe said that the Bas Lagani, this Maimer, is what the Frierdiker Rebbe left for us. So connecting to Tzaddik is his kashrus is mainly through his Torah, and the Rebbe every year used to explain one ois in Bas Lagani out of the 20 oises, and this year we're holding at ois 9. So we'll do a little bit of the beginning of the first ois, and then we'll a little bit of a recap of ois 9. So the Medrash says that it doesn't say Gan, it says Gani, my garden. It's already my garden. This world was originally the Eibish's garden. Ikar Shechina was in this world. Alamaida there were 7 sins that chased away the Shechina. Each chased it away further away from this world. It went from the earth to the heaven 1, and then to heaven 2 and 3 until the 7th heaven. And then came 7 tzaddikim, starting from Avram Avinu, and they brought the Shechina down from the 7th heaven to the 6th, v'chulu v'chulu, until Moshe Rabbeinu, which is the Shvi, and called Shvi and Chavivim, and he brought down the Shechina into this world. And that's the pshat that we say v'osali mikdash v'shachante b'toichem, because the main gilush elakus that there is in the base of mikdash, and it says b'toichem v'never b'toichem b'toich kalecha b'echad Yisrael, and every yid has to make himself a base of mikdash to the Eibishter, mishkan to the Eibishter, and that's why yidden are called the tzaddikim. The tzaddikim yer shorts v'yishkan olad alev, because they are yodesh the Gan Eden, which is the Oretz, because they bring the Shechina into this world. And that's Pshat Bas Lagani, that this world is already a garden. Because Ikar Shechina was already in the Tachtonim. And the Kavon of the Eibishter is that the Eibishter wanted should be a Dira B'Tachtonim. And that happens through the Avodah of the Yid, his Skafia and his Hapcha that a Yid has in his own life. That a Yid Neshama comes in the world, and the body and the Nefesh HaBahamis is put up a fight. And when the Yid breaks the spirit of the Guf and Nefesh Bahamas in the way of the Skafi, his Hapcha, and turns it over to Kedusha, and also to Schelik in the world, he makes a Shachante B'toichem Echad, he makes himself a Beis HaMikdash to the Eibishter. Now, the Ois of this is the beginning of Ois Aleph. The Ois of this year, which is Ois Tes, we learned it Sunday. So we learned it Barichus. We also looked at Shabbos. Just a short recap. There's a fascinating Zoyar. The story, the Gemara says that the day that Shlomo Melech married Bas Paroi, came, the Eibishter sent Gabriel with a big stick, with a kona, and he told him to stick it into the ocean. And he stuck it in the ocean, and then the dust and rocks started to gather around it, and it became a huge city, and that became Krach Godel Sharoimi, a big metropolis of Roim, and they are the ones that disturbed and destroyed the Beis HaMikdash. So, and the Yid, so the Zoya says that the Eibishter tells Losid Love Gabriel that he should break this corner. Presumably, if you break this corner, the whole island is going to fall. And because the Zohar explains, the Zohar says that Yerushalayim Tzur, which is the big city of Rome, can never stand. One will stand and one will be destroyed. So the Zohar says there's a pasuk Ge'ar Chayas Kona, that there is called a chaya, which that chaya is Roimi is called a chaya, is a chazer, and he hides behind to attack the Jews. He hides in the konim, in the bushes, behind the konim. The Zohar says that there is the chayas konim, the zocher the klippa and the cave of klippa, and the Zohar has this interesting idea that a kuf goes like this, and that's the kona. The kona is kuf. And the Friedrich brings from several places in Zohar that sheker ein lo raglayim. Sheker, the shin, if you say a lie, no one's going to believe you. You have to sprinkle a little bit of truth. Shin is the ois of kedusha, which is from the shin, the till, and you add the two oisius of klippa, which is reish kuf. You put it in the middle, and all of a sudden people believe you. But it doesn't stand for long. The job of the yidden is to change it. So there's the chayas kona. The ches is to be broken and turned into hay. From a chelmetz should become matzah, and from the kona has to be chopped off the bottom, and instead of a kona it becomes hine. And the Zohar brings a pasuk, and the Friedrich brings a different pasuk. The Friedrich really brings it in Avodas Hashem, that when a yid turns in the shtus of l'umazet, the shtus the kedusha, that breaks the klippa, the spirit of the klippa, and it turns, instead of a kona, it becomes hine lekeinuza, which is to see gilui lakus, and that's the job of the yid, to break the spirit of the Nefesh HaBahamas, and not only to break him, but to turn him around, that he should himself come around to Kedusha. And that Avodah, and that's the V'shachanti. Through this, the Yid breaks the Kona of Klippa, and Mamela, from this comes the Gula Siddha through Mashiach Tzedkeinu. And the Eibishter should help, that we should take this Yud Shevat, that we should be zoche take to Gula Mitzvah Vashlema L'yitei Mashiach Tzedkeinu. Amen. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. Well, once that corner gets knocked in, that place is going to sink.
How precarious it is.
It's standing on one corner.
Yeah. Paris is the city of lights, and Rome is the eternal city.
Okay, they don't know. It comes a little Farbrengen over here, Yud Shevat, and that corner is going to break. They're sinking. Huh? L'chaim, we have a schus to have one of the Chassidischen Geleit in Crown Heights, a mashpia in Mochachana, a mashpia also for the girls in Beis Rivka. And I had the schus to be together with Danial Green as Shliach in Melbourne. Danial was the Elter Shluchim, but we were together in Shlichus. No, we were together in Shlichus. In Melbourne, there's always a senior and there's a junior futzah. So this is this. Oh, and his father-in-law, and we have the schus that we smell the. My father-in-law. Yeah. When you smell something good on Avenue J, you know his father-in-law is in town.
He davens here all the time.
Yeah. comes
I
here.
don't smell it. I don't smell it. Yo.
He's not here. He's not here now.
He smokes a pipe, Rabbi
He
smokes
walks around with a pipe.
He
You ever see it? It's a professor.
comes every day. He comes down from the day, almost every day.
He has a final tonight to give a test. So he told me while they do the final, I know he must have
You should know, you love him. Love him.
Yeah.
He's gonna say the sheker and kesher tonight.
They call it the normal Meshachis.
What?
L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. Shuva, shuva, Shevat Mosai, Nochem Alabadecha, Rabbeinu Baboiker Chazdecha, Neradeno Elitzlacha. No, shuva, shuva, Shevat Mosai, Nochem Alabadecha, Rabbeinu Baboiker Chazdecha, Neradeno Elitzlacha.
I'm sitting here.
You're sitting here. Okay, how come you come to me?
Say again?
You can't go individually. You
seen some 70s.
Anybody
I only sleep here. I only sleep. Oh yeah, tell me האדום הזה בבקשה. I only... האדום הזה, מה אכפת לך? יש לך אדום כאן. If you can, please, thank you. שכוייח. Thank you.
חיים לחיים.
תודה. ירידה או עלייה? לא שמעתי. ירידה. לא, זה עלייה.
Okay. So I hope l'chaim l'bracha. I hope you guys can bear with me because Farbrengen, we have to try to get to the main points and get to the heart. Sometimes after a rough day, stressful day at work, we have to try to say l'chaim until we can, relax. Today is Yud Shevat. It's a very powerful and awesome day in the Chabad calendar. It's not just a yahrzeit of a tzaddik. It would appear to be so. It would appear that this is the yahrzeit of the Farbrengen Lubavitcher Rebbe of Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak, who's the 6th leader of the dynasty of Chabad. But this is so much more than we have other yahrzeits throughout the year. But this is not just any yahrzeit, because this was the day that the Rebbe took office. He did not want to accept this position. He was very reluctant. Those who read stories about it, the Rebbe had no interest in the position. In fact, I read recently that Reb Simchai Mushka someone was writing on Chabad.org that Reb Simchai Mushka was the one to convince her husband to do this, and she said, if you don't do this, then 30 years of my father's life will be down the drain. My father, the Farbrengen Rebbe, was the Rebbe for 30 years, from 1920 till 1950. And if you don't take this over, what will be from his life? The Rebbe started his Nesias on this day, and it's celebrated by Chassidim, by Chassidi Chabad, as the day of the Rebbe. It's the day of Dor HaShvi, as Rabbi Morozov just eloquently explained to us. The profound mimer that remember the Farbrengen Rebbe in his final years he had a speech impediment. He was not. Oh, sorry. Kvad Peh, Kvad Lashon, right? He was not communicating. The only one who understood him was the Rebbe. The Rebbe understood him. The Rebbe was kind of like the people. I heard people who met the Farbrengen Rebbe and they couldn't understand him at all. Only the Rebbe understood him and communicated what he said. The Farbrengen Rebbe printed Maimorim, and the Maimer Basi Lagani was to be printed on that Shabbos and was given throughout all the shuls in New York. And the Maimer was already printed on Rosh Hashanah, and it was given out. And on that morning, Shabbos morning, the Maimer was there, and all the shuls had the Maimer. The Rebbe pointed out the incredible Hashgacha Pratis. Not just Hashgacha Pratis, but that there was obviously a Kavanah here. The Farbrengen Rebbe on the day of his grandmother's yahrzeit, Reb Sim Rivka, which was with Yud Shevat, and he leaves this Maimer to be read, to be learned. The Rebbe said this is the last will and testament of the Rebbe. The Rebbe left this with the knowledge of what was transpiring that day. And in the Maimer, what does he say? What does the Maimer say? He says the Maimer begins, Basi Lagani, I've come to my garden, I returned to my garden. And the Farbrengen Rebbe explains how there were 7 generations. From the Eibishter created the world, the Shechina was B'tachtoinim, the Eibishter was in the world, down here in this world. And because of various sins, because of various Avedas like Eitz Adas and Chet Kain Be'enosh, and the sin of the Aveda, the time of Enosh and his generation, and so on and so forth, the Shekhinah was nistalic 7 levels away from the physical plane that we are in, to the 7th Rikiah. And then there were 7 tzaddikim. Avraham Avinu was the first. And Avraham Hischil Hoyer, and he brought down the Shekhinah from the 7th to the 6th Rikiah. And his son Yitzchak, and of course Baita, and so on and so forth, until finally we come to the 7th, Moshe Rabbeinu. And the Frierdiker Rabbi says, until Moshe, he was the 7th, and all 7s are special. He just threw that in. All Shviyim, all 7s are special, and he was the one to be Zoichet to bring the Shekhinah down Lamata. So the Rabbi says how uncanny it is that we are sitting on the very day the Frierdiker Rebbe was the 6th Nasi of the dynasty of Chabad, 6th generation. And on the day of his leaving this world, he is leaving for us. What a message this is! How can we not recognize this Hashgacha Pratis? I have to say, the Baal Shem says we have to have lichtik oigen. We have to have illuminated eyes. Sometimes things, if Hashgacha Pratis just slaps you in the face like this, you have to. Just yesterday, I was walking with my wife to our new restaurant. It's called Mozzarella. You heard of Mozzarella? It's a little new restaurant in Crown Heights. I don't usually get a chance to go out, but my teenage daughter is trying to get into seminary now, so she needs to do chesed hours. She owes like 25 chesed hours, so she's going to help us in our house taking care of the kids. So we're going out to. So I'm walking on Eastern Parkway.
It's a good way to do it.
Yeah, it's a good way. It's good. The school helps us. So I'm walking Eastern Parkway. So I'm talking to my wife about I'm also a shadchan, by the way. I'm also a shadchan. I work with, I teach young women, so I help them with shidduchim. So I happened to mention, we're making a list of 500 people that we know, of singles that we're trying to figure out, shidduchim. So my wife mentioned, she mentioned another name I should put on the list. Another name to put on the list. I never heard the name before. She told me a certain girl. And I was telling her one of my talmidim just got engaged. And in fact, the owner of the restaurant is the chassan. We walk into the restaurant, and suddenly, who do I see in the restaurant? The Kala that I just mentioned, and this girl that my wife mentioned to me. They're both sitting in the restaurant. It's like, what is the Hashgacha Pratis out of 500 people? The 2 people we discussed were sitting right there. Obviously, the Eibush wants me to somehow, have to think about these particular shidduchim, this one particular. The word is that Hashgacha Pratis, when something happens, there's something that's, the Eibush gives us messages. It's not just by chance. And clearly, the Estalchus of the Tzaddik is not by chance, and the Maimer he left us is not by chance. So the Rebbe basically presented the notion, not just the notion, but he presented his battle cry. He said, so the 7th generation is the one that's going to do the job, and we're going to bring the Shekhinah down to this world. That's what the Rebbe was telling us. And that's what Yud Shvat is. It's the beginning of a new era, the 7th generation, Dera Shvi. So it's important to understand, first of all, I always try to explain to my kids that Ashreinu, it's such a big schus that we are from a Yidden. We are but not just that, we have a schus that we are connected to the Rebbe, and we have a schus that we are Chassidei Chabad, that we are connected to Chassidei Chabad, because there's a lot of various, we say a lot of kreisen, a lot of various forms and different paths in Yiddishkeit. And they're all beautiful, they're all important, they're all good. Many minhagim. Chabad is the cutting edge of Judaism. I like to describe the cutting edge of Judaism because it's always there at the cutting edge, always. Every generation, you name it. In communist Russia, who is fighting for Yiddishkeit? Chabad. All the other shuls closed up shop because it was Sakanas Nefashis. The Frierdiker Rebbe gave up his life to the very last drop of blood, and the Rebbe's father, people like Rabbi Morozov's great-grandfather, these were Baal Mesiras Nefesh, and this was Chabad. In fact, I just read recently that Reb Aaron, the holy, big, very great tzaddik, Baal Ruach HaKodesh, Reb Aaron of Rekeach, Reb Aaron of the Belzer Rebbe, and he said, or his brother said that he had said that when it comes to Mesiras Nefesh, we are all Talmidim of the Rebbe Rayatz. The whole Jewish people, we are all Talmidim of the Frierdiker Rebbe, the Rebbe of Chabadski Rebbe. Because Mesiras Nefesh, this is Chabad. This is Chabad. And not just Mesiras Nefesh in communist Russia, but Mesiras Nefesh in modern day America, in the free world, the cutting edge of Judaism. Who started Kiruv? Who started Hafatzas Hayadus? The Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Lubavitcher Rebbe. So basically, so the Frierdiker Rebbe, he imparted with us, he taught us, and he experienced such incredible Mesiras Nefesh. I heard a really interesting story that his grandson, unfortunately, didn't really stay too strongly in Chabad circles. His grandson, but he was a child. And, So when he was a young child, and Frierdiker Rebbe was imprisoned in Shmolokens in Petersburg, and people were able to visit him, but it was like he was there for a while. It was really a dungeon. It was really terrible in there. And there was this question if his grandson should come see him, to be able to come. And the Frierdiker Rebbe said, "Let him come to see a Yid who has Mesiras Nefesh. Let him come to jail to see a Yid that's sitting in prison for Mesiras Nefesh for Klal Yisrael." So the Frierdiker Rebbe had this tremendous Mesiras Nefesh, and this Mesiras Nefesh he imparted. It was interesting. The interesting story. I think the Rebbe says it that I think it was in Warsaw during World War II, while the Nazis were bombing. And there were Yidden that were, the Frierdiker Rebbe was also there. Famous story that Rebbe mentions in Sichos. And there was bombing happening, and there were a lot of types of Yidden there. Not all of them were from Yidden. And there were people there. Many of them were various other types of not whatever. And they were, and the bombs were falling, and the building was shaking. And suddenly, at one point, the building shook, and the Yidden screamed, "Shema Yisrael, Shem Elokeinu Shem Echad." Not just the Frum Yidden, even the not Frum Yidden, everyone together. And the Rebbe says later, I think it was the Rebbe said it, that how were they inspired to scream out Shema Yisrael, even the people that were not B'chlal believers or not? So the Rebbe said because since the Rebbe was there, the Rebbe, the Nasi Ador, inspired Mesiras Nefesh. And B'meila, the Pintel Yid was awakened, and they screamed out Shema Yisrael. So the Rebbe is a Rai Mehemna. He cultivates emunah, and this is the Indian of Rabbi. We are here, of course, gathered today. We're not necessarily Chassidim, but Frierdiker Rebbe. We're the Rebbe's Chassidim. Yud Shevat, the Rebbe took over. The Rebbe's Nesias, and the Indian is that there's Indian Neshama Klalis. The Rebbe is a general Neshama Klalis, and today we are. This is a day that we are zich miskasher to him. We feel every year it's a Yom Ha'il. Every year on this day there's a special. This is a special Inyan, the Skorim and Eisim that the Inyan Miskashus, the Rebbe's Nesias began on this day. Every year the Rebbe would Farbrengen, and the Rebbe would go into the Maimer, explain to us our mission. So it's important that we say l'chaim. One time the Rebbe said that we should say l'chaim to the Rebbe, and to be mitzayer, we say mitzayer pnei harav, to think of the Rebbe's face when we're saying it. And the Rebbe says to make a keli for all the brachas, to demand the brachas that we want from him. We need to make a keli. What's the keli? A keli is to do something that he wants. Make a achlata, everyone to ourselves. We can think to ourselves what it's going to be. Whether it's in chinuch, habanim bavanis, whether it's in hafat sayat, hafat samayanis chutza, whether it's shiurei Torah, learning chassidus, davening with a minyan, tzedakah. Everyone should make a achlata themselves, to mitzayir themselves pnei harav, and say l'chaim to the Rebbe. L'chaim, 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 Rebbe. L'chaim. L'chaim.
Amalecha nafshi, Amalecha v'zav.
Thank you.
One time the Alter Rebbe visited Shklov. Shklov was a Ir Be'em B'Yisrael, a lot of Yidden, a lot of very learned Litvische scholars were there, and they had a lot of kashas on the Alter Rebbe Shita. And the Alter Rebbe was considered an Ilui, but he was, even though he was a genius in Nigla, but the fact that he had now become a member of the follower of the Magid, he was, of course, they're very afraid of him. A lot of kashas on the derech. When he came to Shklov, so the famous story was that there was a lot of questions prepared. They had a lot of questions prepared for the derech of Chassidus, and many kashas were very big kashas. And the Alter Rebbe comes into the Beis Medrash. They're ready with their kashas, their questions. And I heard one version was the questions were asked. Another version was they were ready to ask the question, But the point was, the Alter Rebbe said, I don't want to answer the questions. I'm going to sing a niggin. You know the story?
Yeah, the story.
Oh, you know the story? Okay.
Good story.
Once the niggin was a niggin that touched the neshama, once the niggin was sung, all the kashas went away. I feel the same way when we watch videos of the Rebbe. You know, Tzir Pnei Harav. I myself, we're only human. And a lot of times we learn the Rebbe Sichas and we don't understand what the Rebbe is talking about. Some things are mind-boggling. The Rebbe says, Mashiach's here, or he makes a Mashiach, and sometimes, my Shver would be mad at me if he hears this. I hope he doesn't see the video. So I'm not sure. Like, how can we understand this? Professor Solman. My Shver. So, anyways, but you know what? Suddenly, so every Mati Shabbos and Shul, we have videos of the Rebbe. I'm sure you guys have it here too, yeah. And you hear the Rebbe talk, and you hear the Rebbe saying a Sicha, and suddenly I don't have any more kashas. Suddenly, it all makes sense. It all makes sense, and the Rebbe says it, and the Rebbe says, especially the Rebbe says, like a fire the Sicha about Mashiach, and it's like, all the kashas go away. At least with me. I feel I don't know. One time there was a chassid. His name was a famous chassid of Friedrich Rebbe, a masker actually, Rabbi Farbrengen. So you probably know this story too, because if you know the other story, there's a more famous story. It was then all the WhatsApps were sending it around. Rabbi Farbrengen was one time was the masker of the Friedrich Rebbe, and one time it was on Rosh Hashanah, Erev Rosh Hashanah, he was arrested. He was arrested by the KGB, or whatever they called it, secret police. And he didn't make it. He didn't make it to Shul because he was under investigation. He was under interrogation in a jail, and he didn't get out until the second day of Yom Tov in the afternoon. And he gets out of jail, and this is I guess in I don't know wherever the Friedrich Rebbe was at the time in Communist Russia. I don't know where it was. And he gets out and he comes to the Rebbe, and the Friedrich Rebbe sees him and says, who bist du gewesen, ganze Yom Tov? Not Tkiyas, not yesterday, not today. So he says, I was in jail. I was held by the communists, by the police. I was interrogated, and I couldn't leave. I was in jail. So the Friedrich Rebbe said to him, "It's a Pella. Why did you should have cried out, Rebbe, Rateve. You should have cried out, Rebbe, save me." And I would have, something would have happened. In other words, if you would have called out, Rabbi, save me, the Friedrich Rabbi was saying, but you didn't do that. So we all have this ability to do this. We have this ability. We don't unfortunately, we don't see the Rabbi right now. But we have this ability to call out to the Rebbe. Many different ways to do it. Go to the oil, or you don't need to go to the oil. Call it to the Rebbe. Rebbe, save me. Rebbe, I need help. A lot of people, I teach Bali Tshuva, and I give a class called Damash Tashiv. So the girls can ask all the questions that their friends are asking. The friends have the questions, or they can ask me, so I can ask their friends questions. You know the famous story of the Rebbe Marash? A person comes to the Rebbe Marash, his friend asked for a tikkun for a certain Aveda. So the Rebbe Marash said, so your friend should have come and asked for the tikkun. Why does he have to send you? He could have come. He could have said he's asking for his friend. So what was I saying now about the girls? The girls.
You asked for their friends.
Yeah, yes, they asked me questions. Yes. Now, what was I gonna say? Now we're talking about we talked Rebbe Rateve, right? I forgot what I was going to say. I guess the mashka. Let me see. I was going to say that. It's very. A lot of times my students ask me, and these are girls who are from. Some of them are from for a few years. Sometimes some of them they're just becoming from, or they're But they ask what do we need a Rebbe for? Like the Eibishter. There's the Eibishter. Why a Rebbe? So there's recently an answer. Someone wrote a.
The Rebbe himself said, if you said the Rebbe saved me, he said, the Rebbe always point up. He saved you.
That's right. Do you guys get the gem? You know the gem? The gem has every week a thing, interview. My story. You saw the My Story?
Yeah, sure. Sure, we see it.
You saw the one from Herschel. What's the name of Herschel? What's the last name? Lazarov. He asked the Rebbe this question. He says, I don't understand the concept of a Rebbe. I want to be from Yid, but I don't understand why I need to have a Rebbe. You know, the Rebbe answered a very beautiful answer. And you see in Nigras Kodesh, the Rebbe explained that. That explains very nicely that we're imperfect and you need someone to learn from. You know, there's a teacher, someone that can teach you that you're able to. It's a much deeper. It's a very deep concept. You know, we learn in Chassidus that we are called a neshama pratis. We're all detailed neshamas, and something called neshama klalis. And neshama klalis is not just. He's not just a bigger lamdin than us. He's not just a person who's a bal moifes or a bal ruach kodesh or a navi. That's not the Inyan. The Rebbe, you know, there's a famous letter in Gimel Tammuz actually, Gimel Tammuz Tafshin Yud. And after the Histalkus of the Friedrich Rebbe, the Rebbe was writing, what is a Rebbe? Some people say it's a Bal Mesiras Nefesh, some people say it's a Goin, it's a Mashpia, it's all these various. The Rebbe says Nish Dasi Dizach, Nish Dasi Der Inyan. The Rebbe is a Nasi, the Rosh Bnei Yisrael. He is the head. The head that connects us with the head is the chayis of the body. The chayis of the whole of every cell in the body. From the head. Our skashus to the Rebbe, it transcends learning. We need to learn to have a skashus to him. It's true. In 770, there's they have the boys put up sichas, and they, you know, like it's funny, like you guys ever go to some 70 at all? Anyone?
Yeah, sure.
Downstairs in the bathroom, you know the bathroom over there. There's like where you wash your hands. They stick sichas on where they dry. You know where you dry your hands. They stick it right on the dryer. It's very good because while you're drying your hands, it takes like 5 minutes. You can actually learn something while you're drying your hands. You can be learning a sicha. It's very nice. So they had a sicha there that the Friedrich Rebbe visited Eretz Yisrael, and the Friedrich Rebbe was there for a week. What was it again? Yeah, I heard you say the year. It was Peisan right after this. Right after the liberation. Right after he got out of So I guess 1927 was it? 29, right? Yeah, pay test. So the Friedrich Rebbe was there for a week. Someone learned to the Rebbe that the Bnei Ma'arava, those the Bnei Ma'arava, like the people of the West, meaning Eretz Yisrael, they're a little bit it's a whole thing about the Israeli people are a little bit like we say they're the Eretz Yisrael we're not necessarily the biggest in Kusharim. In general, they were considered a little bit like, a little bit not, they have their own holy land over there, like Yerushalayim is a little bit. So they were saying like the Bnei Ma'arava were a little bit, was kind of a foreign thing to them, but to see the Rebbe was, it's a gepoilt in a makif, it was in a makif from them. Like people were saying that seeing the Rebbe was definitely a profound effect, but it was a makif meaning it was kind of like aloof, kind of out there. So that was writing to them, Farbrengen, the makif in a pnimi. You have to bring down the makif to be pnimius, and that's through learning chassidus. And the Rebbe said, "Ulei yashleimer," even a higher makif than the makif. In other words, it's the same. Learning chassidus is not only just seeing the Rebbe was a makif, meaning a
General
surrounding, kind of like a hovering. But learning chassidus, learning the Rebbe's chassidus is a pnimi. It's inside, but it's also even a higher makif at the same time. Learning the Rebbe Chassidus is higher than seeing him, in a way. The Rebbe was writing that. If you want to connect to the Rebbe, seeing is amazing, seeing is believing, seeing is incredible. But learning his Torah is even higher. So, I forgot what I was saying now. What was I just saying now? Oh, I want to say, I got to say something very interesting. By the way, I'm sorry. Oh, I have very big. You heard about this? I just got an amazing text right now. You heard about this? Can I say it? I can't say it. Okay, I can't say it. I can't say it.
After Niggin, you can say it.
After Niggin, I'll tell you it's a very big simcha in the family. My wife is telling me, I have the phone on because I have notes here, so, but she's texting me something about your Rav, so I'll share it after. Now, I forgot what I was saying. What was I just saying? I forgot. That we should see the Rebbe, and also we should all cry out. We should all say L'chaim Rebbe. Whatever we need, we should know we have an address. We have someone to turn to And I was telling you about the girls, why they were, okay, I'll explain that another time, a little later. L'chaim, l'chaim. L'chaim, you see the Rebbe, take him yad mamish. L'chaim,
yeah. Only.
That's a special thing. So someone just told me a very interesting thing while I was riding here. I was riding here. That someone once came to the Rebbe and said to the Rebbe, in the early years, there were a lot of. Crown Heights was full of a lot of various other types of chassidim. Not just. In fact, Lubavitchers didn't live in Crown Heights in those years. In the 40s, Lubavitchers lived in Brownsville because Brownsville was cheaper, and Crown Heights was more. There were Satmars lived there, other various types of chassidim. There was also a lot of Freya there. Someone once came to the Rebbe and said, if the Rebbe would wear a streimel, he'd have 50,000 chassidim, 50,000 more chassidim. So the Rebbe said, I don't know the makar of this, but this is my brother. My twin brother was. I'm actually identical twin. So my brother was telling me on the phone just now. So the Rebbe answered, from who? From Shomer HaTzair? From the Shomer HaTzair, meaning the extreme left, the Freya Eretz Yisrael, like lefty youth. They're very Zionistic, called Shomer HaTzair. So no, from Chassidisha, I'm not interested. In other words, if not from the Shomer HaTzair, I'm not interested. At one time there was a Baal Tshuva came to the Rebbe in Yechidus. I heard this from Elteri Chassid in Crown Heights actually. Baal Tshuva came to the Rebbe and I said to the Rebbe he's encountering. He feels he's worried because he has kids. Don't forget that the Rebbe was heavily invested in outreach in a time that no one else did this. This was you guys have to realize we're in this today. The whole Yiddish Welt is doing outreach. I remember a time when me and Rabbi Merazov were Bachrim. This was not too long ago. I'm talking about the 80s. I remember putting on film with a Yid on Fairfax Avenue in Los Angeles. I got yelled at. I was yelled at by a Litvischer Yid, or a Yid that was obviously a Litvischer on a board, but he was a very firm person with a black hat, and he was yelling at me, "How dare you put on film with this Persian Jew? You didn't watch Nagabasa with him. How dare you do this?" And he was, and I was, oh, you have a good question. You have a good question. I went back to yeshiva to find out. I was like 15 years old. I didn't know what to answer him, but. No one did this in the world. It was only Lubavitch. In fact, we were castigated for this. In fact, the Frumer Welt was very much against this type of behavior. So what am I saying? So one time what happened was that there was a lot of a lot of, in other words, the people who were becoming closer to Yiddishkeit were coming to Crown Heights and coming to the Rebbe. That's where they were going. The Rebbe started Bachum Chana, where I work now, and there were Yidden were coming like in the 60s, 70s, like in droves. They were coming hippies. One time, a Yid he became from. He was living, I guess, whatever in Brooklyn. But he was a from Yid with a mishpacha, bal mishpacha. He came to the Rebbe in Yechidus, and he was complaining that he was worried that his kids are now in the age of shidduchim, and he was scared. He is as a in Yiddish we say there's something called a geborener and a geborener. A geborener means someone who was born as a Chabadsker chassid, a geborener, a born chassid, and then there's something called a gevorener. A gevorener is those who became gevorener. So he says that I feel that I might get a little bit of discrimination in shidduchim because I'm a gevorener, my wife is a gevorener. Maybe we're going to have, so he was worried that he might not get a good shidduch for his daughter or his son. So the Rebbe told him, the Rebbe said to him, my chsidim are gevorners. What can I do that I inherited some gevorners from the Shver? I inherited some. So one of the things about Baalei Tshuva that I deal with them a lot, and I am myself a Baalei Tshuva as well. I want to be. I'm sorry?
I want to be.
Yeah, well, want to be, exactly. So, we were just singing the song Samach HaNafshi. Samach HaNafshi is such a powerful song. The Rebbe is saying, this story, the Rebbe taught this niggin, by the way. Yeah, I think it was maybe Tafshin Chav Daled, I think one of those years, I don't know which year it was, the Rebbe taught the niggin. The Rebbe said, someone should sing the niggin Samach HaNafshi of the Alter Rebbe. And no one knew it. Rabbi Yochanan, the big Baal Menagnim, no one knew the niggin. So the Rebbe said, no one knows the niggin of Samach HaNafshi? Maybe it was earlier years, maybe in the Yuds, probably Yuds. You know the story? So the Rebbe said, no one knows the niggin Samach HaNafshi? So no one knew it. So the Rebbe said, the Alter Rebbe is niggin. So the Rebbe started singing it. And that's why the minhag became in 770. The Rebbe would sing it, the Rebbe would sing it after him. The first time people didn't get it yet, so the Rebbe had to sing it twice, and then people repeated it. And that's why all the years, it became, the Rebbe would sing it, and then people would repeat it afterwards, right? So so it goes, Samach HaNafshi, my soul is thirsting for you. Kamal Chabsari, my flesh is expiring for you. Be'eretz Yiva'oyif, in a desolate and dry land. And then it goes, Kain ba kodesh chazisichen. Similarly, in kodesh, in holiness, I perceive you, I see you, or I should see you. So the Baal Shem Tov says on this, what's the pshat? Kain ba kodesh chazisicha. Right? So he says, the Baal Shem Tov says that the pshat is like this. David HaMelech was in a desert, where he was far away, he was outside of Eretz Yisrael. And he was zichmishtoikek. He was yearning to be back in the Eretz Yisrael, and be in the Mishkan, to be in the place of the Shekhinah. And he was running for his life, or whatever it was, from Goliath, or from Shaul, whatever the story was at the time, I forgot now. And he was saying, Samach HaNafshi, I'm thirsting for you, I'm thirsting for the Eibishter. But he said, that when I'm going to be there, I should continue thirsting for you. I should never stop thirsting for you. Just like I'm thirsting now when I'm in a desolate and dark place and I have nothing. I'm the same tshuka, the same desire I will feel when I have everything. A Baal Tshuva has nothing. A Baal Tshuva, whoever has been there and done that would know. When you realize that the ganze Welt, the whole world is a sheker. It's a sheker. The Rebbe says in the Maimer that Rabbi Mazel just read, and his test, the Rebbe mentions it, that the base of Mikdash was built with Krashim. The Mishkan was built with Krashim, and Keresh, the boards, are the same letters of Sheker. And the world is a Sheker. It's a lie. Because his Zayda, Mendel used to Farbrengen Yeshiva. I was in Abachan Yeshiva in Altera. Frek der Welt and Alta Kasha. The world is a Sheker. It's a lie. The whole world's a lie. What we see, what we think, what we aspire to be. When I was a kid, I was very into basketball. The Lakers were my greatest. The Lakers were just, the dream team, Magic Johnson and James Worthy and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I can tell you, and the Celtics. I can tell you the whole thing.
About Kareem.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm telling you, Kareem. I used to learn how. I used to copy them on the court, the basketball court. I was a good player. I was a good basketball player. But I used to play basketball. My problem is I never grew past 6'2". That was my problem. I stopped at 6'2". That was it. 6'2" is not gonna.
I had the same problem.
You had the same problem? I was in yeshiva.
You start by 2, not by 6.
I was in yeshiva, and then what happened was that I had made this team. They had a thing called Maccabee. All the Jewish kids in California tried out to be part of this team to play. You know, the Jewish All-Stars. And I made this team out of 200 kids.
Wow.
And then I didn't want to do this. I was in yeshiva, and I didn't want to. You know, I'd have to wear shorts. I didn't want to wear shorts, and I was jogging pants. And I know it was like they were not. And the Rosh Hashiva told me you have to do it. It's a Kiddush Hashem. You must do it. So I was the one from kid. I went to play. You know, and we won actually that year. We won the tournament. All the 16-year-olds in the world. We played in Chicago, and we won. We beat all the teams. But my Magic Johnson was. I mean, he was. What's better, higher than Irvin Magic Johnson? And then I found out, and of course now I'm in yeshiva. Now, whatever, you don't have to know, it's not important. Check it. And then I found out that
He was a magician. That's what I call magic.
why am I saying this? Because then I found out, now I'm in yeshiva and everything, and suddenly they had the news comes out, the guy has AIDS and he's dying of AIDS. Yeah. So now, you know, we were kids, we looked up to Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, and they're not, they were you know, it's funny because when I was a kid, we were Superman. It was like these. So one of the shluch in our area told my mother once, that my mother was asking, that the infatuation the Rebbe was, she thought was a little bit, as a superhero, she was a little bit like scared of that. So why is the Rebbe? So the shluch would tell my mother, like, oh wait, and Batman is better, and Michael Johnson is better. This is real. This is real. It's something that's real. So the world is a sheker. It's a lie. It's a ligand. It's a lie. And the Indian is to change the sheker into kesher. That's iskashrus. We take the sheker. The world is a lie, and we take the world, the all the inyanim gashmiyim, and the shtus the kedush, shtus the lumazeh, transform it into kesher, the connection, which is iskashrus. So why am I saying this now? I forgot now. Go ahead.
It's all good. Don't worry. You don't have to.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You're supposed to remember for that moment you say.
Yeah. So I'm trying. So here's here's the verse. The verse like this. When you're at rock bottom, I used to in Miami. I was
Slugger,
huh?
He was a big slugger.
Rock bottom. I was when I was in shlichus in Miami for 14 years. Yeah, but I used to have a shir. I used to have a shir with a bunch of guys. These guys were thirsting for Yiddishkeit, thirsting. They were not from at all. And two of the guys were like, get me. They saw my tefillin. I had two Rabbeinu Tam, Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam, big Daled, and with 770 logo on the thing. Get me those tefillin. So they wanted. They were not from Bechal. They wanted to have. One of the guys, and it was interesting, is that I found out afterwards that a lot of the guys were going to AA. They were going to Alcoholics Anonymous. Some of these guys making a lot of money. A lot of them making a lot of money. And one guy was telling me that when you hit the bottom, you realize you're it's like, they were trying to explain to me what it was like. I used, in fact, in my shul in Miami, I had no mashka around. It was grape juice, because there were people who they couldn't be in a room with mashka. It was dangerous for them. But why am I saying this? Because here also? Yeah. Okay. Put it away. But the Rebbe says, by the way, I saw a sikha, the Rebbe was writing that now in Heintige Zeiten, you don't need mashka to get shikar. Chassidus. You can get intoxicated learning Chassidus. Yeah. The Rebbe was saying that only 4 l'chaim, for anyone under 40, only 4. And the Rebbe was like, it's not necessary now in our generation. Anyway, the bottom line is like, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that when you hit rock bottom, when you realize that it's a sheker, the chaz of the world is a ligand, and you realize you have nothing, and you're thirsting for alakus. So that's like the Rebbe says, that's when you wake up in the morning and say Moida Ani Lefanecha. Every Yid feels this every morning. When a Yid realizes in his life also, not just waking up in the morning, but waking up like the Rambam says, Chevle, what's the lashon again? When someone who is sleeping the sleep of Gullus, and he's into shtusim, and he realizes that it's nothing worth, and suddenly he's thirsting for alakus. So Kain Bakush Chazisicha, the chest, like we were thirsting when we had nothing, but now that we have, Baruch Hashem, we are in a shul, we are davening 3 times a day, we are learning Chassidus, we're learning Nigla, we're Baruch Hashem. The same thirst as Kain Bakush Chazisicha. The same thirst. This is what the Alter Rebbe says, that the Mashiach is going to come to bring tzaddikim to do tshuva. Because you know, they said that I think the Alter Rebbe, the very interesting part in the Torah, the Alter Rebbe says that it says that Mashiach is going to come. Mashiach is going to come when we do tshuva. So the Alter Rebbe says, who has to do tshuva exactly? Who has to do tshuva? The friar, the tinik shenishba. They're not even. It's a oinus. It's tinik shenishba is potter. He's not. So who has to do tshuva? It's a tzaddik who has to do tshuva. The frum has to do tshuva. And the Rebbe says, the Alter Rebbe says, what type of tshuva are we talking about? We're not talking about tshuva from Avedas. We're talking about tshuva from just being not close to the Eibishter. That's the tshuva we're talking about. So the bottom line is that the Rebbe demands from us a thirst. Doesn't matter how much we have, we're thirsting. You know, I want to say, we want to raise our kids in this way. We have to raise our kids. Baruch Hashem, of course we want to have parnasa, they should be comfortable. But we want them to thirst for Elikus. I want to tell you, I know I shouldn't do it. The truth is, the matter is, I shouldn't say this. But you know, when I see Rabbi Merazov learning, and when I see him sometimes learning in Beis Medrash, he's a busy man with a bunch of kids, kind of hard, and he's sitting learning. We should be thirsting to do this, to be able to sit and learn Torah. It's unbelievable. But the Chiddush Rabbi Merazov is a bigger Chiddush, because this is the Chiddush of the Rebbe, really, that we're taking a Yid Alamdin that could be sitting and learning his whole life. And what instead of this, he's arranging Farbrengens here in Avenue J. That's Bittul Torah. Someone of his caliber. It's, you know, I was just learning the Maimon, the Basi Lagani and Tafshin Yud Test out. The Rebbe was writing that every mitzvah has to be begashmius, has to be in the, you know, it's the amud and the krashim are going down from the mechaber, the gag and the earth. And every mitzvah must be down in the gashmistic welt, in the gashmistic gufa gashmi. And even those mitzvahs like learning, like avas Hashem, yiras Hashem, has to be in the physical body to the extent that your physical brain gets wrinkled from your learning. It must affect your brain till the fact that your brain is wrinkled from it. The Rebbe writes. Can you imagine how wrinkled this man's brain is? You know, this man has a wrinkled brain. I know this man. I'm sorry, I don't have to embarrass him. I know this man from many years ago, probably before anyone else in this room knows him. This is a yid that sits and learns, and he really knows what he's learning. Not like me. I'm just like doing lip service. He really understands, and he has geschmack in learning. And it takes such a person to rip him away from him and to do mipsoyim. I remember one time. I'll tell you the truth. I don't know. I didn't plan to say this, but I remember one time in Melbourne. He came back to tell us a Paladik and Maisa. He used to go. The Rebbe says the Bachrim need to go on Mipsoim every Friday afternoon. Chaim l'chaim. Now, you have to understand that today there's a big misunderstanding in Chabad today. I don't want to. The truth of the matter is, I don't want to put anyone down, but a lot of people think that the tachlis is to raise your kid to become a shliach. A shliach that has a big shul, a big following, a big shetach, a big that's like the tachlis of being a big fundraiser. But we have to understand that the tachlis of the main goal of a parent should be your kid should be a ben toidim. Unfortunately, today a lot of the parents, I feel people are like, if our kid is from, we're lucky. Our kids, if he has a beard, we're even luckier. If he has a hat and jacket, unbelievable. That's like Layla. No. Chassid Yirei Shamayim and Lamdin. We're raising our kids to be Lamdin, to be Loimdei Torah. This is the highest madrega. The Rebbe says, by the way, about the lulav from Esrog, that we mentioned the lulav from Esrog, the Arba Minim. So it says the lulav represents, it has a taste but no odor. The esrog has both a taste and an odor. So Chassidus explains. The Medrash says Chassidus explains that the Medrash showed that taste means Torah, and the odor, the good smell, means mitzvahs. So the esrog is both mitzvahs and Torah together. It's wrapped in one. It has a good smell and a good taste. That's the Jew that has mitzvahs and learns Torah. The lulav is the Jew that only learns Torah. But then the Rebbe said, hold on a second. If the esrog is the biggest ma'ila because he has mitzvahs and Torah, so why do we say the bracha al tilas lulav? Should be al tilas esrog. Esrog is the main chiddush. Why are you focusing on lulav? Okay, so Migla says, it's the highest one. Okay, fine. That's nigla. But abichsidus doesn't make sense. Well, how could it be that the lulav is the ikar? So the Rebbe says no, because the ikar of kiyum of Am Yisrael is the lulav dafka. The ayida batlin that sits and learns his whole life. That's the ikar of a Jewish community. That's the ikar of Jewish life. Not the shliach that is raising millions of dollars and.
It's also focus.
That's a big chiddush. That's the esrik. That's beautiful. Maybe that's the bigger mila. In maybe he's a higher madrega. Also, he's the esrik is higher than lulav. But when it comes to the kiyum of the Jewish people, where do we all come around? We come around the lulav. So why am I saying this? Now I forgot why I'm saying this. Because
People have a mistake in the notion.
oh, the mistake exactly. There's a mistake in the notion. The notion has to be that we have to learn. Learning is a premius. Chabad non pnimius. The Alter Rebbe wants us to learn. The Torah wants us. It's a chiyuv tmidi to learn Torah. It's 24/7. You know, I'm with shidduchim. Sometimes I when it comes to shidduchim, I say to the parents sometimes, I see a bacher. You know, I need. In other words, sometimes we have like a bacher with a smartphone, for example. I'm not against smartphones, rather. I mean, whatever. The point is that it takes a lot of time to have a smartphone. Sometimes a bacher sitting and learning. Why should he be wasting his time with it? He needs to be sitting and learning. It's sometimes the girls say, oh, we want a bacher going on shlichus, he wants to go on shlichus. A bacher sits to learn. To me, that's the tachlis, that's the halavai, we should be such a madriga, you know. It's true that the Baal Shem, there's something called a Baal Shemski, we push the Yid that the Baal Shem Tov loved the Baal Shem, the push the Yidin. Push the Yidin, a simple Jew that says Tillim with a hergish, and he goes to work. But he wishes he could be learning, but he's a Pashto Yid. So that the Baal Shem Tov says that's a higher madrega than a Ben Torah. It's true. That's true. But see, the Pashto Yid has to want to be that his kids should be a Ben Torah. We might be in business, but we want to raise our kids to be. Our kids should be like Rabbi Brazov. We might not be like, but halavai, my kids should be like him. So I'm just saying. Well, why am I saying that? I forgot. I was just saying the word is that.
Man Malcolm Rabban.
Exactly, Man Malcolm Rabban. So I was just saying that. Here's what I was saying that we take a yid like Rabbi Morozov. Oh, that was the story now. It's in Miami, in Melbourne. So in Melbourne, he once comes back and tells us the Pella de Gemaisa. He probably said this to you also, but I remember it from then. We're talking now 1994. So we're talking now, how many years ago was that? 25 years ago.
Not so many.
Not too many? 1994, he comes one Shabbos at night and he says that this slide was a Pella Maisa that happened on Mitzrayim. He just, you told him the story?
Told it a few years ago, but a lot of everyone remembers.
Okay, so
Maybe we need to hear it again.
Yeah.
Okay, so he on Mitzrayim, he met an Israeli woman, and the Israeli woman, but I heard a nice word from what's his name, from Reuven Dunin. One time there's a bacher giving candles to a girl on Mitzrayim. So Reuven Dunin. He said to him, why are you doing that? He says, Mr. Neshek, you know. So Kiruv Halavavas. So Dunin says to him, yeah, you have to do Kiruv Halavavim. Kiruv Halavavim you can leave for the girls. Lavavim, Lavavot. So the kids are,
You're talking about loving.
Love him. The kid says, so he met over there was a woman that she said, the Pella de Gemaisa, this was 1994, that she was engaged or she was married to a non-Jewish man. Israeli girl, Moroccan Israeli girl from Melbourne, yeah, lived in Melbourne. Maybe you have a browser's story. You want to say the story?
Continue. I'll correct you.
I can correct you. and she said that the Rebbe told her parents were upset that you guys remember the story now? No. Her parents were upset. Her parents were upset because she was marrying a goy, and they were not from, but they didn't want her daughter to marry a goy. So they write a letter to the Rebbe. Everyone turned to the Rebbe. Everyone, the whole world would turn to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe said to them to tell the couple, your daughter and the chas and the.
And she had the note from the mosquitoes.
She showed you the note.
Yeah.
Wow. And the Rebbe said to explain to them that by doing this.
The Rebbe wrote that they should tell her.
Oh yeah, the Rebbe also. Wow. So the Rebbe explained. The Rebbe said to them. To the parents, to tell her, explain to her and to her fiance that by doing this move, by getting married, this would separate them. This would separate them, both the chassan and the kala, from their living parents, from their parents, right? What was the lesson? The
main thing was that the Rebbe said that if they love each other, they will separate because it's not good.
Okay.
And if something will happen in the future, who knows what his parents will say?
The pellet what?
She's Jewish.
Huh?
So she married a Jew.
Yeah, she's Jewish.
Yeah,
She was with
they'll
the.
blame her.
Yeah, that they'll blame her.
Right.
And then what happened? Yes, what happened in the end? The guy passed away. No.
Then he committed suicide. And they blamed her. And she drove him to commit suicide.
Wow.
I mean, this is the short of the story, but that's. We saw the story unfold. We used to come to her every Friday. No, I used to. Then I was going with Chachon. I forgot who I went with. It wasn't with Chachon. But she was with him for a long time, and he was deteriorating. But she didn't, and then he committed suicide. Then Taka, the family blamed her for.
Anyways, I'm just thinking, why am I saying the story? I remember the story from 25 years. Funny, 25 years ago now, I'm hearing the story again, now I'm getting it a little better. But the word is like this. The word is that the Rebbe would take a Yid that's sitting and learning. These were the community. All we wanted, someone Chanafti, when we just wanted a lakus. And the Rebbe would take us and say, you go and help another Jew.
She's just talking about you.
And so there was once a Yid. His name was Bumi Friedland. Bumi Friedland was I don't recall ever meeting him, but I used to hear from Abraham Levitansky in L.A. I'm from Los Angeles, by the way. So Abraham Levitansky al Hashem used to speak about him a lot, and the Rosh Rabbi Shachan speak about him a lot. And he was a person that was passionate masimid. He sat and learned 24/7. That's all he cared about. Just learning. That's all he wanted to do. And he was a big guy. He just sat and learned Miglech Sidis, and ultimately what happened to him, the Rabbi told him he should teach Yemenite children Aleph Beis. And today he's a Rabbi for young children Aleph Beis. And I remember the Rosh and Rabbi Levitansky used to say about this was a man that would be Thursday night would not sleep the whole night. He would sit and learn. There'd be Gemara's on his table, and they would go to sleep on Thursday night and wake up on Friday morning, and he'd still be there. And all he wanted to do was learn. And the Rebbe took him, and they should sit and learn with Olim Chadashim, and just teach them Aleph Beis, Yiddishkeit, basic things. So, in other words, I'm sorry?
You're leaving out a part.
What's the
When
part?
you got married, the Rebbe told me you should stop sleeping on benches.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know
He used to
that.
sleep on benches in 770, and for some reason he found a comfortable spot, and it was only this wide.
Very nice. So the word.
I mentioned I had a wife at home.
That's right. She also came to the 70. So the word is.
We're in the same bedroom.
The Vibrishal.
Not a matter.
I was once time 70. There was a Yom Kippur. There was a lady that was sleeping in the Vibrishal, and the Gabbarim were throwing her out. And they asked me to. And she asked me, it's a Yom Kippur. She stay up the whole night. She wants to stay in the shul. So I went downstairs to ask Rabbi Marlo what to do, because the Gabbarim are throwing her out, and it's Yom Kippur. She tiny is that Yom Kippur said you should stay up the whole night. So and Marlo says, no, get her out. Just let her go home. Let her go. Women, not for women. For men, not for women. Anyways, but the word is like this. The word is that. So a Yid sits and learns Torah. That's what a Yid wants to do. And the Rabbi takes his Mekusharim, his Chassidim, and explain to them with this Dar Shvi. And now it's Achos Muhus. You're going to go and teach children Aleph Beis. This is the Rebbe's Shlichus. The Hechste Zach Leilu Leila. And that's what Rabbi Razov does. Rabbi Razov is a person that should be sitting and learning. But the Rebbe Gehasen, the Rashvi, Skashrus. So this is the
18 hours a day is not so bad.
18 hours, yeah, not 24. Chaim l'chaim. That maybe we all have to. We are Baruch Hashem connected, and we have to know that the Rebbe wants to sit and learn. And I say before it's Sir Pnei Harav, and to miskasha to the Rebbe, to learn the Rebbe's chiddush, to want to learn every moment that we can, because that's the ikar of life. And Samuel Chanafshi, and Kei Baruch Chazisicha, and even though Baruch Hashem everything is good, but it's not good. Just in the same Mesiras Nefesh that Reb Chaim Razov had back then, and the Frierdiker Rebbe and the Bala Mesiras Nefesh had then, we have to have now too, because the Rebbe says, the Rebbe is giving us, feeding us, that we're not going to be happy, not with the pool, not with the Mercedes, not with the house, not with the job. It's all garnished because it's all sheker. We want kesher, we want the Eibishter, we want atzmus. And that's what Yud Shvat is all about. It's the Dir B'Tachtoinim, we do the Rebbe's in Yanim, to make your svadiyos, to make hachlatas toivas, Chaim l'chaim, Chaim Rebbe, Chaim. We should all make sure to tomorrow to wait a pan, to call out to the Rebbe, to make a hachlata toiva, to ask for brachas, and we should see the Rebbe taking that mamish.
Amen.
We want Mashiach, Mashiach now.
Ani So I said before the Shai, the Kasha, the Kasha is, why do we need a Rebbe for? What's a Rebbe? Baruch Hashem, we have every Yid has in the Shama, every Yid has Shulchan Aruch, and we have a Rav, and we have a Shliach, we have a Rav, we have a Mikveh, we have Kashrus. What do we need a Rebbe for? Everything's good. What was that? So Chassidus teaches us that we need a Rebbe. It's very good. It's very nice. Baruch Hashem. It's true. It's true that we're all responsible for ourselves. It's true. But a Rebbe is a core. It's a core thing in Yiddishkeit. Moshe Rabbeinu was a Rebbe. Moshe Rabbeinu. You know, this parsha we're reading tomorrow morning. Tomorrow Yud Shvat and the Chitas Yud Shvat. I'm sure everyone's going to Chitas tomorrow. Whoever doesn't yet learn Chitas. Very important. So my wife was telling me, someone emailed her an interesting thing that Basi Lagani. You guys heard this? Basi Lagani. Basi. You saw this?
Say it.
Someone said, my wife was telling me Basi is Russian name is Basi Lagani. I came to the garden. The Basi is Beis Al Safiyot. So Beis is the beginning of Chumash, the Breish Bar Lakim. Al the beginning of Tilim, Asher Ish, beginning of Tilim. Saf is Tanya. Tanya. So that's Chitas. And you say the Rambam. So these are the way to get to the Rebbe's garden is learning the Rebbe's in Yanim and the Rambam especially. So.
What?
So what was it saying? Now I forgot. What was I saying? I was saying that.
What's
Huh?
What's
talking about Rebbe for us. We need a Rebbe. We have a Rebbe Razov. Never agree. If you need, he doesn't want to talk. I don't know why he needs me. By the way, I should listen to him. I don't know why I'm listening. Whatever it is. He calls me Friday afternoon, like 25 minutes before Shabbos. I can't answer why is Marazov worried 20 minutes before Shabbos about some Farbrengen next week. I don't know. This is a yid that it's worried about it Farbrengen. He needs to bring me. That I teach women Bali Tshuva, and I don't know what he wants from me, but look, fine. If he asks me, I do it. Normally, I would say no. You should know, by the way. People ask me the past 6 years. I'm living in Miami. I'm in New York for 5.5 years. I consistently say no. I will not go to this Farbrengen. That's Staten Island, not in Borough Park. I don't need it. I'm not looking. Ich such nicht.
Serious
but
nefesh. What about serious nefesh?
after a few l'chayims, I gotta try. I'm not.
Serious nefesh. You're talking about the serious nefesh.
That's right.
You have to walk the walk and talk the talk.
That's true. That's true. You know, I'll tell you what happened to me. I Baruch Hashem, can I know how to have 13 kids?
Here we go.
No, I'll tell you what happened here. I should bring them. I used to bring them. When I was a younger man. My brother would tell you when I was a young man, I was that's probably why he asked me to come. He's like, he knows me as a young man. I don't know. He's not going to ever ask me to come back after this. He knows me. Oh yeah, Danial Green. I can't barely. I go to bed 9 o'clock. I wake up at 5 in the morning. I'm trying to learn to finish to the Torah. I wake up in the morning. I go to Chassidus in Sub 70. I go do my job. I teach. I do my thing. I make shidduchim. I'm not. I have so much. Just raising my kids itself is just so taxing for me. It's like I'm trying to get my kids should have, should be. I learn with each one of them. For me, learning with half an hour with each one of them, that's my whole day already. It's mamish, yeah. So, but my brother asked me to come. He asked me to come, so I said, look, if he's asking me to come, I can't say no. And also, it was 25 minutes for Shkia, for he looked at. That's if it would have been like an hour before, I would have said no. He got me in the right time at the right place, and it was him that I can't not sit. So I said to my wife on Shabbos, I'm stuck. I'm going to Avenue J.
You never played
The kids know when to ask. Oh, yeah, whatever. Okay, yes.
Yes, and only Yechon Meraz that get me to come. Only him. The bottom line is what now? So the bottom line is now. I forgot what I was saying. The bottom line is that so the girls are asking, what do we need Rebbe for? So why do we need Rebbe? So we have to understand Moshe Rabbeinu took Yidden out of Galus. The Rambam writes, I was just reading that before I came, an interesting thing, the Rambam in Igeres Teiman, televic things, he's writing that Paroi and it's Yitzhak Ninim, and his astrologers, the same time tells Yidden, you have no hope, you're not going out, the Jewish people are finished, Avraham Avinu, it's finished, you guys are slaves, you're here forever. There's stars saying like this, you're not going anywhere. So the Rambam writes, and comes along a person, he says, a human being that was chosen, that was different than all other human beings. Moshe Rabbeinu. We can ask a kasha, we need Moshe Rabbeinu. The Abishur couldn't do it himself, he needed Moshe Rabbeinu. Who is Moshe Rabbeinu B'chlal? And then we're learning Tabaru Chitas in Yud Shvat Chitas, it says, we're learning that it says, Vayaminu b'Hashem Moshe Avdoi. The Yidden believed in the Abishur and in Moshe Rabbeinu. How can you equate the two things? Moshe Rabbeinu is a basar v'dam. He's a mere mortal being. Yes, it's true that the Medrash says, the Gemara says, Moshe learned base. Moshe did not die. Moshe is immortal. Okay. But how can we equate the two things? What do we need Moshe Rabbeinu when it comes to the Eibusher? Needs Moshe Rabbeinu? He doesn't need anyone. So the Alter Rebbe explains that Moshe Rabbeinu was the Muta Mechaber. He connected the Yidden to the Eibusher. The Eibusher needed Moshe Rabbeinu, Kaviyachol. Moshe Rabbeinu was a different type of a neshama. He was the only one that could reveal in the Yidden their connection to Atzmos. Only Moshe Rabbeinu. So we need a certain person, a Basar V'dam, who is a neshama klalis, that he. Right.
And that Moshe was able to.
Only Moshe. That's right. So for some reason, the Eibishter wanted Moshe Rabbeinu. So the bottom line is like this. The bottom line is that I don't understand why. So here's the thing. In every generation, there's such a person. The Chassidus tells us that there's such a person in every generation. Baal Shem Tov was a Nasi of the generation. The famous story. The Baal Shem Tov one time was one shot. I think it was Yud Dalet Tammuz. I think it was Yud Dalet Tammuz on Shabbos afternoon. After they were going to wash for Shal Shudas. Baal Shem Tov ate Shal Shudas. He wasn't a Lubavitcher, obviously. The Lubavitchers don't eat that. I don't know, but whatever. The Baal Shem Tov.
It's a soft subject.
Soft subject. I don't want to get. I'm sorry. I was years ago in 1991. I was in Eretz Yisrael. I went to Eretz Yisrael for a few months. And his name was Bentin Grossman. Grossman, what's his brother's name? Yitzchak Grossman? Yeah. So it's his brother. So anyway, I was in Shiva there for a few months, and he got a shtreimel, and he was kind of like a little bit a little Lubavitch. It was a little interesting at the time. He was not yet. He was coming close to Lubavitch, but he used to come to yeshiva and the Bachim would they used to ziddle him. They used to make fun of him and we don't do these the Bachim. We don't eat shal shudas. They were like teasing him, and he was like, oh, we have to eat shal shudas, and no, we don't. So one time one of the first Shabbos I came there. It was actually Shabbos. It was Parshas Naso Tashon Aleph. And that Shabbos, the Rebbe washed shal shudas, and it's like we had the whole discussion on Shabbos, and then after Shabbos we found out that the Rebbe washed shal shudas, came back and ate another meal shal shudas, and he made another Farbrengen Tashon Aleph. He's telling us, you see, the Rebbe did it. So the Rebbe says that the Rebbe says that B'chal Chsidim were yotze with Peiros or other things, or just Dibbe Chsidis, whatever it is. But the point is, it's definitely a minig. It's a special it's a mitzvah for sure. It's halacha for sure. You show there's not communal halacha that if you forget to say ritzei during shal shudas, you don't go back.
Right.
Only the first two suddas, whatever.
The Friedrich Rebbe washed, the Rishon washed.
Yeah. You don't. There's actually another interesting thing, by the way. I teach women, so the interesting enough I was teaching yesterday. Actually, interesting enough the Mishnah Berurah writes, and the Alter Rebbe doesn't mention it, but I spoke to different rabbanim and Chabad. They say, well, the fact that Alter Rebbe doesn't mention it doesn't mean it's not the case. It seems to be the case. The Mishnah Berurah says that if a man forgets to say ritzei, he doesn't know if he says ritzei or not. So the Mishnah Berurah says it's safek deraisa, because it's benching for a man is minatayr for sure. Tosfos says that for a woman it's only midrabanan because Bal Brischa it's a safek because a woman is only it says she's not chayv in a bris, and it says Bal Brischa is Shechasamtim b'sareinu, because a woman is only p'chayim midrabanan. B'meila it's a safek midrabanan. So if a woman doesn't know if she says ritzei on the first two sudas of Shabbos, she doesn't go back because it's safek derabanan. And a man, it's safek deraisa, he has to go back. If a woman knows she didn't say it, she has to go back because she missed it out. It's not. But if she has a suffix, she has to go back. Anyways, why am I saying I forgot? No, shal shudas is a holiday. No one has to go back, even a man, because it's not because whatever reason, a man does not have to go back. Even if he for sure didn't say it, he doesn't go back. Anyway, the bottom line is, why am I saying this about shal shudas? Now I forgot what was I saying now.
Hashem made it so.
No, daily.
Oh yeah, Yudal Zion?
I don't know.
Yudal Tammuz of a certain year. What year it was? Baal Shem Tov went to wash all shudas, and suddenly after he washes, he goes. He makes hamoitzi, and suddenly he's depressed. He gets depressed, and he says, "Kava nera ma'rovi." It was extinguished the western candle in the menorah. Nera ma'rovi. So no one knew what he was talking about. They didn't have WhatsApp in those days. There was no emails. There was no Instagrams. It was Shabbos, though. It was Shabbos. So so he says, and everyone knew the Baal Shem Tov, when he said Nera Ma'ravi, he meant the Erech Chaim HaKadosh. The Erech Chaim HaKadosh was called the Nera Ma'ravi, the Western candle. So how did the Baal Shem Tov know? I'm sitting on Shabbos Yudal Tammuz, in that year, whatever year it was, the Baal Shem Tov, the Erech Chaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar was nostalgic. How did he know that? So they asked him, how did you... So he says, the Erech Chaim was nostalgic. So he said, how do you know it was Ruach HaKodesh? No, I did not Ruach HaKodesh, not that. Baal Shem Tov was like a little bit, humble a little bit, No, not because Ruach HaKodesh. Very simple reason. In every generation, there's one person that is able to understand. There's a sense that every mitzvah has a certain, the soy, the secret, the real deep reason of the mitzvah. Alter Rebbe says, there's pnimius, the soydus ater will be niskala. Right now we don't know the pnimius, the soydus ater we don't know. So we don't have the ratzah, and the ratzah the Eibusha wants to do it, we do it. Like the Alter Rebbe says, Ilu nistavinu lachtzev eitzim, the Eibusha would have told us to haken holtz, we would do it with the same chayes that we do when we put on the tefillin shel reish tefillin. But really there's something called the tainug in the mitzvah, and that's the tam pnimi. And the tam pnimi is not in Nizgal until loss of love. But it says in every generation, there's only one person who has the ability to know the secret, the soid, why do you have to wash for bread until it's yadayim? The secret, the soid, until it's yadayim, al pi Kabbalah, only one person in the generation can know it. So the Baal Shem Tov said that all the years I couldn't know it. I didn't know it. Suddenly now, today with Yudal Tammuz and whatever it was in that year, I was washing, and suddenly the secret now comes to my mind, so I knew that he had passed away. The Erech Chaim passed away, because otherwise, how could I know it now? It must be that he's not here anymore. So that's why I know the covenant might be. So in every generation is that person who is the one. By the way, the Erech Chaim HaKadosh was a special yid. I mean, in fact, not only that, but we see the Erech Chaim was actually, he was the person who should have been Mashiach in his generation. Famous story. You told me a story ever about The Yisrael, famous Meister, there was a famous tzaddik, his name was the Apter of Rabbi Avram Yeshua Heschel. The Apter of, he was, I think it was Urianical, yeah. The Apter of, he was a big Menageh Techzus Chabad, he was a big tzaddik. And the Apter of, one time, there was a Yid that wanted to print the Urach in a Chumash. And the Yid, his name was Usher. He was Usher. He was a lead for sure. And Usher printed this Yid, the Bab Usher, you know the story? No? He smiles. So this Rabbi Usher went to print this story, printed the Chumash, the Urach HaKodesh, together with the Pirush of Urach. And of course, in those days, and even nowadays, by the way, when you print a sefer, you need to get a rav, someone to be mamlitz to say that the sefer is liable. The girls in my school in Malchum Chanach buy books, and I tell them, don't read any books till you ask me if you can read the book, because there's a lot of books that are not kosher out there. I used to give a class in Miami. One time I called Barnes and Nobles in Aventura. Someone wanted a class in Kabbalah. And they told me, sure. I said, no problem. What book? I said, what book are we selling? They said they didn't have a time. They say for a bahir. Okay, I'll give a class and say for a bahir. It was like a book class. It was free, and they brought me like 50 people because Barnes and Nobles is a big company. So I was giving a class, and 50 people were there. And Baruch Hashem, I got from the Chabad. I got a few people came to the Chabad from this class. I used to do it every week. So they told me any book in our Barnes and Nobles you can pick out, you can use for your class. You can give your book, whatever it's called, a book club, a book thing. So every Wednesday I gave a book review on a certain book, and the people would come, and I would get their names and addresses, and then I would try to encourage them to come to the Chabad house, whatever. So I was looking in their array of books, and I saw they have different, in this section of Kabbalah and Judaism, I saw crazy books. Like one book was called God is a Verb. That's interesting. I never had
Transitive or intransitive?
Yes, I was looking who wrote it. It was a Reform rabbi. Okay. And then there's a book about Kabbalah, and I said, who printed the book? I was looking at the book. It was printed by J for J, Jews for J. Printed the book. Wow. So I told him, I told the lady, which is a black woman in this Aventura on Biscayne Boulevard in Miami, back in 2003, I guess. So how could you put this book in the Jewish section? Well, they can't, anything that says Judaism, they put there. They're not, I was very upset at her, but the bottom line is, so I told the girls in my school, anything you read, you ask me first. So if I see it's reliable, if I see it's a reliable thing, then I'll tell them, I could read it, very important thing to realize, people, and when it comes to kashrus, we're very careful. Kashrus, we have to make sure it's a hechsher, it has the OU, the OK, the hard K, the chaf K, but when it comes to reading, any WhatsApp, anything, of course we're reading it. Reading is worse. Reading is going straight into your mind. It's metam of the Chabad Shem Nefesh. It's a very serious matter, I think one of the things I forgot now. What was I saying now? What?
I wouldn't remember what to say next.
About the Baal Shem Tov.
Oh, Baal Shem Tov. So the vort is that every generation there's a special there's a Moshe Rabbeinu generation.
Osher,
Osher, thank you. And by the way, you never call people with ADD, you never call them back. ADD is not a good thing for your shit, especially in Mashke, it makes it worse. So the vort is, I guess, so this Osher printed a chumash of Orach HaKodesh. So the Orach HaKodesh, the very, very geschmacke, interesting. The Orach HaKodesh, by the way, is unbelievable. Whoever read it, whoever learned it, it's unbelievable stuff. The Orach HaKodesh, it's just amazing. It's amazing. So I think it's a Parshas Re'eh. So I think it's what's the pasuk over there? I think it's the pasuk. Oh, Bavadai, Mordechai. So I think in Parshas Re'eh it says if it's going to be what's the lashon of the pasuk? Right. What's oh, that's in Nasa, yeah.
Yeah.
Nasa. So in Nasa, no. That's before.
That's later. I'm sorry.
No. So I think in Parshas Re'eh, I think it's Parshas. It says is that Posach Yiftach Es Yadacha. It says that if there's going to be an ani achad. So Pesach Tiftach, you have to open your hand and give to him. Very unbelievable. It's a Peldig of Piddush. So the Orach HaKodesh says that who's the ani, who's the evyoin? Ba'achad sharacha, ba'achad achecha. It's Mashiach. He says achad am. And what does it mean? You should not be stingy with him. But it means Mashiach doesn't need your money. The Arachim says it means give tzedakah. But who you're giving it for? You're giving it for Mashiach. So you're giving tzedakah to a man, to a poor person, to a moitzeh, to a shul. Everyone should give tzedakah to the shul, by the way. It's very important. The shul especially. But you're giving tzedakah, but with the kavanah that it's for that poor person, that that he needs your tzedakah. What does he need your tzedakah for? Because he needs you to bring him. He doesn't need your money. He couldn't care less about your money. He needs you to give tzedakah. He should come already. By the way, so I heard an interesting story. I'm sorry for skipping, but I heard an interesting story that I heard from Yid in Crown Heights. The one time there's a general, back in the 70s, the Chabad did a lot of work in the U.S. Army, and the general wanted to give a check for $100,000 to Lubavitch on behalf of the work that Lubavitch did in the army, chaplain space. So this Yid he called the one who got the check. He called Chadikov. Chadikov said he wants to give the check to Chadikov. Chadikov says he's Jewish. I said the money's from the U.S. Army. He said, "Goy, der Farbrengen Rav zi kennt das Namen." So the Yid, his name is Spritzer, Shmuel Spritzer. He says he called the Rav, Zalman Shimon. He says, could Lubavitch take a check from $100,000? By the way, those days, that was a lot of money in those days. Nowadays, $100,000 is like, okay, it pays the rent, Those days, it was a sizable amount of money, $100,000, back in the early 80s, 70s. So the Reb Zalman Shimon said it's a heter to take it, you can take it. So he called back Chadikov, so he says, the Rav says he can take it.
Oh yeah, that was...
So the Chadikov says, heter? Like, and Chadikov didn't want to take it. Now, he knew that the Rabbi didn't want to take it, basically. And then Chadikov said that the Rabbi did not want to take $100,000 from this Yid, this guy from the U.S. Army, because the Rabbi didn't want it. I heard another story from Natalia Stulin. You know Natalia Stulin, the Russian, he's an unbelievable person. Whoever ever met him, Natalia Stulin. Natalia Stulin, a Russian who came to, he's in LA. I'm from LA, so I used to know from LA. He once met a Yid a Persian Jew in Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills is a very rich area in LA. And the guy had AIDS, or the son had AIDS, in the time, very, very tragically. And the family was very rich, and they came to the Rav, they came to Naftali, and I think Zaltzman, they gave him a check for $10,000. They wanted it, and he came to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe gave him a bracha. The Rebbe told him, he came to the Rebbe by dollar, he came by the Rebbe, and the Rebbe, he told the Rebbe, Hadam shali lo kasher, my blood is not kosher. I need a bracha, I should have kosher blood, because he had this disease, Rahman al-Islam, Hashem Yishmereinu. The Rebbe told him, in order to have kosher blood, you need to eat kosher. So if you're going to keep kosher, you're also going to have kosher blood. Something to that effect. So the family heard that. I think that the father passed away, but the mother, his mother, he was 26 or 25 years old, this man, and the mother right away kashered the house in Beverly Hills, the rich Persian family, they kashered the whole house. Everything was kosher and everything, and it went away. It went to remission. It went into remission, it went away, and the Baruch Hashem, the guy lived for a few years. Now the problem was that they didn't keep Chalav Yisrael. Or maybe it was a big, what do you call that? What's it called? Not AIDS. What's the other thing called? HIV. It was still HIV or something. And the Rebbe said they wouldn't keep Chalav Yisrael. The Rebbe told them they went to Shmukler at the time. Who was the moil there in Naftali, and they said said everything. Said it became everything Chalav Yisrael, Pas Yisrael, and then it went away. So tell the thing. I heard someone telling himself it went away. But the tragedy was that the guy he was nichshol. He started to eat out in restaurants, and after 2 years later, he came back and he died. But the Pella was, why am I saying the story? Because the Pella was that 5 years ago they gave a check for $15,000 at the time in the early 80s, was a lot of money. Also, the Rebbe never cashed it, and it never got cashed. They never didn't want a penny from it. The guy died, and it was never cashed. Ali was like, the Rebbe needs your money. The Rebbe does not need your money. Mashiach doesn't need your money either, by the way. Mashiach doesn't. So the Orach Chaim HaKadosh says, "Pesach tiftach es yadacha." To this, this achar achacha. The pshat is nishtas der darf dein Geld. He needs to give tzedakah to a shul, to a ani, to whatever, so that he should come, because Mashiach is desperate to come. So the Orach Chaim writes. He finishes off the whole arichis. It's a very interesting thing. You should read it, by the way. I think it's in Re'eh. He finishes off the whole arichis. Anyways, he finished the whole Arich. He says and explains Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben Yosef, and he finishes off the main thing. He should come already, and he finishes off the whole thing. Ushmoi Chayim, and his name is Chayim. Now, it's very beautiful. The problem is the last two words. What does that mean exactly? Ushmoi Chayim. Because you'll know those who have dabbled a little bit in Yadagul Mashiach and learning the Gemara and in Sanhedrin Daf Tzadik Zayin with Beis. Chaim is not one of the names. There's Menachem Shmoi, Yasharim Menachem Shmoi. There's Chanina Shmoi. There's Shiloi Shmoi. There's Yinoi Shmoi or Yana Yinoi Shmoi. There's even Samach Shmoi in the Zohar and the Zohar Yisham and Zohar. Chaim is not mentioned anywhere. Who came up with this? The Chaim Chaim Shmoi, and his name is Chaim. So anyway, why am I saying the story? So now we're going back in the early 1800s. A Yid, his name is Reb Chai. His name was Usher. And he was a madpis. He was a printer. And he's printing a chumash with the Orach Chaim HaKadosh. And he's coming to the Orach Chaim. He's coming to the Oiv Yisrael, who's the Abder of, for Hamlatza for his chumash. He's printing in the Hebrew print, and he's printing in those days. And that's why I told you about the girls. You can't buy a book without Hamlatza. You can't buy a book. You want to buy a chumash, the Goodnik edition. Who is writing that it's kosher? If you see a kahas stempel, then it's kosher. Because the kahas stempel, I want to tell you something, by the way. There's a certain his name is Rabbi Krinsky, and I want to tell you something. In general, his videos, his book, anything he prints is looked over. Is looked over, which means he looks it over. You're not going to a lot of I recently bought not recently 10 years ago I bought Jewish videos for kids. Sometimes there's a problem with the video. Sometimes you have to be careful with your kids. Sometimes you buy videos, you think it's kosher, maybe not. Sometimes not everything is kosher. Not everything is kosher. But Yehuda Krinsky is very, very. Anything that comes out from Jam is very good. Kahas is also very good. Kahas has a whole staff of people. They're really good. Kahas, any Kahas sefer is good. Any other sefer, who's Mamlet, who said that it's kosher. So Usher is trying to print his books. He's going to the Abder Rav in those days, in the early 1800s, the big Rav, the big Manta Omar. And he asked him for Hamlatzah. So the Abder Rav takes the Chumash, the Orach Chaim. He looks and he's skimming through it. He's looking through it, and suddenly he just comes to the page I just told you in Parshas A, the pasuk that says Chaim Shmoi. And suddenly the Abder Rav, of course the Baal Ruach HaKodesh Abder Rav is not. He's a big special neshama, special yid. And he right away looks at that pasuk. He looks at that Rashi and it's missing. The words Chaim Shmoi were missing. It was a Tos HaTfus. It was missed out. It was left out. The Rachaim, the Abder Rav knew it by heart. Obviously, he knew it enough to know that there's something missing. So he says to this man, "What happened to these words? I think you're missing. There's something missing in the end of the sentence here." So Usher, who is not really in the Chassidish direction, he says, "Look," he says, "I deliberately left out the last two words. That was it for him." So he says, "Why?" He says, "Because he didn't think it was really Oifim Skabel." The Orach Chaim HaKadosh writes in the Orach Chaim Shmoi, what's the makar? Wo steht das? Wonach kommt das? I don't know. It looks like something that I don't want to say. So I left it out. So the Abder Rav was very unimpressed. Says to him, so if Ebazeh, I can't sign on your book because anyway, you don't need me because you already signed your own book. So he opens up now. He takes the Sefer Chumash and he opens it up to in Parshas Nasoi. So he said over there, it's talking about a soita in the Parshas Soita. So it says that the woman has to say, "But Isha Amin Amin." So Rashi says. So in Rashi, in this Chumash, there was a Chumash and there was Rashi and there was Orach Chaim HaKadosh. That's what the whole thing did. So in the Rashi, so it's in our Rashi. So it says, "But Isha Amin Amin." So it says, "Amin Ish Zeh, Amin Ish Acher." Amin from this man. Now there was a woman who was a soita. She's suspected of znus, suspected of adultery. So she has to swear before she drinks the water, after she drinks the water, or machlekes. So she swears before the carbon, after the carbon. So she has to swear she didn't commit adultery with this man. And we call it Gilgul Shvua. Here's a raya for Gilgul Shvua. I think that it says Amin that he can be megalgal that not only Amin from this man, Amin from any man. that he can Megalo Shua, that she can't, that he was kosher any man, she got to swear that she never committed adultery with any man. Amin Mishzah, Amin Mishacher. So in this print, in the Orakad, in this print of this man who printed this Orachayim, this Chumash, so he had a Tosat Tfus, instead of writing Amin Mishzah, Amin Mish Acher, the letter Ches in Rashi letters, it said Asher. Amin Mish Zeh, Amin Mish Asher. So the Orach Chaim says, "Oh, you signed you yourself signed the book already. What do you need me for?" So then he didn't leave him until he forced the man to be moided that he committed a big serious sin with Eishes Ish. Because in other words, the fact that he had written it says Amin Mish Asher means that he was taka. He had a taka. It did a very rachmal sign with nichshol, and he had with Eishes Ish. And the doctor would not let him leave him until he was moided that he did it. That was the Maisa. The point over here, I don't know why I said the whole story. The point of the story is that in every generation we have a tzaddik hador. This is what the Rabbi taught us, and Chassidus teaches us this. The Rabbi taught us this. The Rashbi taught us this. It's in the Zohar. It's not a chiddush. It's in the Chumash. So we need a Rebbe. We need a Rebbe. We're not perfect. Without a Rebbe, we're nothing. We're lost. We're lost. We need a mashpia. We need a rav. But we need a Rebbe. Every single yid needs a Rebbe. The Rebbe is the one. The Moshe Rabbeinu is the one who was able to be megala. This is what the Baal Shem, the Rambam was writing there. That it was a muvchar mina anushi. That a person that comes along, and he's the one that's able to be megala. That something's beyond the mazolas. It's a hecher from higher than tam v'das. The ones that is with megala. You know, it says that the Vayikra that it says that Vayavar Hashem upon Vayikra Hashem Karacham Chanu. That is that what he can't oisruf in Vayikra Hashem Karacham was Moshe Rabbeinu. Only Moshe Rabbeinu can reveal the Havayah Delayla. The Rabbi says in the Ha'intike Torah. Only Moshe Rabbeinu could do this. We need a Moshe Rabbeinu. It's not, it's just funny because I was learning a Maimer a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. The Alter Rebbe was explaining a very interesting thing. I always had a problem with this as a kid. I have a twin brother. And it really bothers me. People have favorites with kids. It always bothered me. I'll go to shul and learn in shul. Every week, Parshat Vayeshev, I learn. Yaakov Avinu had a favorite. How can you have a favorite son? It's terrible. He made a funny. I have a daughter. It's funny. His aunt, by the way, is your aunt Mora Bela? Mora Bela is my daughter's Rabbi Mora. It's unbelievable. This woman is unbelievable. She's my 3-year-old daughter. She has the deepest concept of Chassidus, and she has such a chayas and Yiddishkeit, and all from his aunt. And her name is Mora Bela. So my daughter comes back and tells me that Parshat Yeshiv. She tells me, what's the hira? What's the lesson? Every week they do a certain midah the girls learn. The girls learn a certain midah, certain character trait. So what's the midah they learn in Parshat Yeshiv? So Mora Bela taught them kina, not to be jealous of anyone. So my daughter, my 3-year-old daughter, she says, we can't be jealous. Can't be jealous. Don't ever be jealous. So now here I am. Unfortunately, I have a big problem with this. Yeah, it's very nice to say Parshat Yeshiv not to be jealous. The brothers were jealous of Yeshiv. But Yaakov made them jealous. Wasn't it his? He made them jealous. He had a certain favorite. When you have kids, it's a big problem. You can't show favoritism. It's very problem. Very problem. My father, actually, as identical to my father, showed favoritism. The father showed favoritism. My family had one of the twins. I can tell you which one, and he favored that twin, and it hurt. It hurt.
Twin.
I'm not going to tell you. So that's my brother might see this. I don't want to get mad at me. So the point is.
You say the same thing.
Yeah, so Yaakov Avinu favorite. So what? So Mora Bela tells the girls, don't be that jealous. They were jealous for a reason. There was Yaakov Avinu showed favoritism. Why did he show favoritism to this kid? So Ben Tzukunim, I was learning the Maimon Alter Rebbe in Klei Torah. I finally never understood. I'm 47, 49 or 46 years old. I never understood until this year. Alter Rebbe writes it in a Maimer, and I never. But Yaakov Avinu, it wasn't he was favoring Yosef Tzaddik. The Alter Rebbe explained Al Pichsid. Once you learn Al Pichsid what it means, you realize what he was doing there. He had a dream. Yosef had a dream that all the sun, the moon, all the everyone was bowing down to Yosef Tzaddik. Why were they bowing down to Yosef Tzaddik? They were Anachnu Ma'alnu Alumim. in the field, they were gathering gatherings, Vintalach, and they were all the bundles were bowing down. The Alter Rebbe explains how the Kabbalah considers that the Shvatim were the Neshamas of Bria. They were the Neshamas of the world of the created worlds of Bria, Tzir, Asir. Bria, Yitzir, Asir. Yosef Tzaddik was in Neshamas Atzilus, and only he could be Maila their Birurim. And B'mil, they needed him. They needed to bow. They were bowing down to him that he should Maila. He should finish off the Mitzvah Birurim. Only he could do it. It had to come through him. So Yosef Tzaddik was a Nazi. He was the Nazi. He was the one. He was the Neshamas Atzilus. It wasn't that Yaakov was favoring him. It's not favoritism. It's das. There's, we could be jealous of what it's like the goat is jealous of his master because he has a beard. I have a beard. We're the same. You and the Rebbe, you're not the same. That's a Rebbe. That's a different. It's under the belly. It's under the zach. What are you jealous of? Yaakov Avinu was had this dream as a davar. So Yosef Tzaddik is doch. So the Rebbe is we need a Rebbe. It's nothing to be jealous of a Rebbe. It's not a Rebbe is the Alter Rebbe, the Mittel Rebbe, the Rebbe, and the more you learn the Pnimis HaTorah, the more you understand the importance, the necessity of the Mutza B'chaber, like the Rashbi. That's what a Rebbe is. So Yud Shvat, that is, I'm going after my time. L'chaim, today's the day of the Rebbe. The Rebbe's in Siyas. We should all try to go to 770 if possible. The oil, have a shayches. The red pan means that we are being miskasha to the Rebbe, and we are showing that we want to be the Rebbe's chassidim kushadim, and it's not just verbal, not just lip service, but we're doing it in Ma'aseh B'Poel, Machshav Dibur Ma'aseh, learning the Rebbe's Maimer, learning in Yanigul Mashiach, the Rebbe's biggest koch in the Let's the Yoden, and of course in all the Rebbe's in Yanim. And Iker, like I said before, is Samach Nafshi. All we want is the Likus. We don't want not Ilam Haza. I had an interesting thing. I was teaching the girls. It says in the Gemara that Kola. It says when you learn. It says in the Gemara, and I think it's in Brachas that Harutza lahashel yatzpin. If you want to get rich, when you daven Shemoneh Esrei, you're supposed to face to the north because yatzpin. Because in the Mishkan, the Tzofan Zayt was the Shulchan. That shows on Shirus and the Lechem Apanim. So haritza lahashir yatzpin, haritza lahachkim yadrim. If you want to have the chachma yadrim, you go to the south because that was the menorah. The menorah shows on chachma and Torah. So I want to tell you the Gemara, and then of course the ikar, the halacha is we go to the east because that's the. So one of my students says to me, this was right after Yutes Kislev. She says we were just learning, and it says now Yom Yom that the Alter Rebbe flat zogen when he was in a state of dveikus. We say, ich will nicht dein Elam Haze, nicht dein Elam Habe, nicht dein Gan Eden. Ich will mehr nicht wie dich allein. I only want you alone. So one of the girls says, so what if you just want not Lahashe, not Lahatze, not Lahashe, no, dich allein, I want you, I want the Eibishter. So what do you do then? So for that you gotta go to some. You gotta go straight. The Vart is like this, the Vart is... Of course, Baruch, the Eibishter will bench in Aleph von Eich, and von uns, with Ashirus, und Flagge mit Pashtus, the Shul should go Le'elam, Lamaila, and should be, and the Rav should have Naches, and for the Zayin Kuravin, and the Kinder, Kodev, Banim Schodim, Talmidos.
Give a over to the Rav.
I just said, the Rav should be gebenched.
No, I see why you're afraid. You say you're in Shidduch and he has 9 girls.
I asked him, she's still in seminary. I feel the same. So the birth is, there's always a bench.
Do you have any married kids?
My oldest is 19, but he's a boy. He's in I believe 18. I say Benjamin Russell Cooper, but he doesn't want to listen. He's learning.
He has a twin?
No. So the birth I'm trying to say, what I want to say, so the Eibishter will bench Alef Nachem mit Ashirus, mit Naches, mit Kinder, mit Gesund, alle, mit Chaim Yitzchim, alle Brachas. We shouldn't forget that we want Atzmut, we want Eibishter. And we learned the Rebbe's Chiddush. There's only way to do it. There's no other way to do it. There's Baruch Hashem, a lot of shulim, a lot of kreis, a lot of very nice places to go. But only in this place you're going to get this. Only in this place in Avenue J, this location, with this rav, with this place, with the shurim in the morning, Shabbos in the morning, whatever. This is the way you're going to get it. To cultivate Raya Mehamner, Raya Amun, the Rebbe is the one that cultivates our Amunah. It's Nefesh. The Rebbe is Megalon as Chidush Nefesh. Chaim L'chaim, that we should not forget this Inyan. We should make Achad this Toibes and the Sikh Rebbe. And if it is, Ozayin, the Gul Mitzvah Hashem will take me out Mamish now. I'd like to suggest that since you have such a Shliach Harav here, I'd like to suggest everyone here today for Farbrengen, you know, Chitas is important for sure. Basil Lagani, like I said before, Chitas, Rambam, that is Kashrus. But besides for that, learning Torah to understand is crucial to be a Yid. So you have over here a big resource. I'd like to suggest that everyone here today should make a achlata to learn, not just Chassidus, the Rebbe's Torah course, to learn Havana Basaga, to learn with Havana Basaga, to try to understand something. Not just look, not just to read, to learn, to understand. That means to learn Gemara. Should be a shir Gemara, of course, you have to Rabbi Morozov or whatever. Even to learn a Rashi Sicha, but to try to learn not just inspiration. Inspirational is nice also, it's very important. To learn to understand, if you use your brain, use your mind, to function, you want your function. It's so important, so crucial. This is what everyone wants from us. This is what the whole year of Yemais Mashiach, we should see the years of the Kurs, we should verstehen. We should try to implement this, try to see whoever doesn't have to learn the shir Nigla every day, make a shir. You have Rabbi Morozov here, he goes to the Beit Medrash, let him learn over here, let him learn. You should learn over here, people should be actually sitting and learning, going through the Mesachtes, this is
there's a few people that started coming.